What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about the early download for Season 5, some exciting reveals for multiplayer, plus even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also as a big reminder, we had plenty of coverage going up over on detonated.com, articles on the website covering every single piece of Season 5 that got marketed thus far, as well as plenty of tweets over on Detonated's Twitter. Detonated is, of course, a brand new outlet I went ahead and founded to expand on all the coverage you're seeing here on this channel, covering every single Call of Duty game mode, just in the form of journalism. But with that being said, earlier today, somebody by the name of Jampon over on Twitter did go ahead and first report that according to the Xbox event app, Season 5 of Modern Warfare 2 will indeed end on September the 20th, which would mean Season 5 is only 49 days long, similar to the short length of Season 4, and that would mean that a mid-Season 5 update will likely begin on August the 30th to perfectly line up with the exact middle of the season itself, and that would also mean that unless there's going to be an off-season after September 20th, there very likely is indeed going to be a Season 6 that will last from September 20th to maybe the very end of October, very early November, similar to Season 6 that we had for MW19 or even Cold War, which ended, I believe, right before the new Call of Duty came out. Then there was a bit of off time right after the new game launched until Season 1 began in early December. So I think with that, that's more evidence that we're going to be getting a Season 6 for Modern Warfare 2, even though earlier in the year, there was more evidence that we were actually going to only get 5 seasons. I think plans definitely changed considering how successful Modern Warfare 2 has been financially. But with Season 5 being a bit of a shorter season like Season 4, that just means we're going to be getting a bunch of content back to back with very few dry periods in between. We're talking Season 5, Season 5 Reloaded, a Season 6 starting up, early access campaign period for MW3, a multiplayer beta, then a Season 6 Reloaded with maybe a haunting event for MW2. Lots to look forward to, but when it comes to the actual preload for our 5th season, the update was found in the PlayStation database and was reported by PlayStation Size over on Twitter, who does report on a bunch of patches for nearly every PlayStation title. He made a joke that Graves is unfortunately cut out of the Season 5 icon, despite Graves being a major player and focus of our 5th season here. We can see Oz and even Mila there in the Season 5 icon we're going to be seeing on all of our major platforms. But with that, in terms of the size of the update itself, he's not able to see exact sizes of every patch, but often we'll be able to see which packs are going to be updated inside of the base game. So for Season 4, he went ahead and listed specific changes to all of these specific packs in the game following the Season 4 and then Reloaded patches that the entire game got. This time around, he actually can't see the sizes, but based on what he has suggested in the replies to the tweet, he went ahead and said that the size of the patch actually isn't that big this time around, which would make sense considering multiplayer is getting more of the updates this time around. There isn't a new Warzone map, there isn't a new DMZ exclusion zone, nothing major is really being added in. Of course, we're going to be seeing the DMZ live event or whatever the Warzone live event is for COD 2023, but there isn't anything massive being added this season, so don't expect too big of a patch. On average though, seasonal updates range from 9 to 14 gigs when the season does begin. Could be a little bit smaller for the mid-season updates. And as far as when you can actually install this update, that's where things get a bit messy because it's been a little inconsistent over the last couple of seasons. We're usually only seeing preloads on PlayStation 4s and 5s. We're not really ever seeing preloads on Xbox or PC. That's just the way it is, not because of the PlayStation exclusivity deal that Sony has, but I guess that's just what the restriction is for certain platforms when it comes to Call of Duty. But what we've seen a couple of times for new seasons or mid-season updates from MW2 is that the preload gets found at some point Tuesday evening, Tuesday night, and it becomes downloadable by every PlayStation user, and then becomes installable the exact moment that the season does drop. For MW2, Xbox and PC, however, have to wait until the season does begin to even receive the download. So if you're on PlayStation, you have slower internet, you have a bit of an advantage to be able to download it and then be able to play the content sooner than anybody else. But for Xbox and PC, if you have slower internet, unfortunately, you have to wait until the season actually begins, which is August 2nd, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern, to be able to download the pass, let alone play the actual new content. But if for some reason we're able to install the preload like we used to be able to do with Modern Warfare 19, Cold War, and Vanguard, if we're able to do that prior to the season even starting, then definitely expect a couple of pieces of content to be usable and actually obtainable via private matches, whether it's maps, modes, weapons, other cosmetics. That's usually how we got a bit of a taste of some of the new content before the season even officially started, but Modern Warfare 2 has been pretty strict on that system to where nobody's able to install anything until the season does officially begin, which I do appreciate and respect because of the sake of leaks. But now as far as what you're actually downloading and installing with Season 5, in terms of actual meat and potatoes, the content here in Season 5, when it comes to map maps and modes. Let's take a look at that here for MW2 multiplayer. But we actually have quite a bit coming to Season 5 on launch day, August 2nd, so they actually start the blog post off with talking all about multiplayer, which is fantastic. We have 4 new maps at launch, 2 for core, 2 for gunfight, and 1 more 6v6 core map coming during the mid-season. Starting off with Punta Mar. This is, again, a brand new environment that is pulled from Las Almas, but has not been seen in any other game mode inside of Modern Warfare 2. Get ready to infiltrate a brand new map from Infinity Ward. Punta Mar is a recently evacuated tourist attraction in Las Almas, once a bustling town on a hill overlooking a beautiful South American beach. Prepare to fight up and down that hill, maneuvering through shops, across rooftops, and through abandoned residences to take control of an area centered around a cobblestone street. Sounds awfully familiar like Favela, right? I'm sure a lot of people out there thought this was Favela when watching the Season 5 launch trailer. It's actually not. There's little time between engagements. Watch the shop windows for enemy operators and use these side streets and alleys to your advantage in this small map geared towards all play styles. So the map looks gorgeous, really looking forward to it, and maybe Favela is somewhere in the distance. I know they kind of changed the location of where Favela is in the new Modern Warfare reboot, so if Las Almas ends up being a battle royale map for Modern Warfare 3, there's likely be a point of interest inside of it, along with Favela, which got rumored many months ago. But next up we have Strike. This is of course a classic map from the original COD 4, aka Modern Warfare 1. Turn the clock back 15 years to one of the core maps of COD 4. Alongside its brethren in Shipment and Showdown, Strike will be restored to its full glory in Season 5 thanks to the latest Infinity Ward engine and technology. This version of Strike is how veterans likely remember it, albeit with some slight adjustments to make it fit in Modern Warfare 2. Does that include the back door near one of the spawn areas and B-bomb sites search and destroy? You have to find out at Season 5's launch. I'm actually a fan of the fact that the remasters we have inside of MW2 weren't treated like the ones that we got in Modern Warfare 19, where they added more safe spaces, more doors, and a bunch of other environments that weren't in the originals. There have been slight modifications in some of the updated remasters inside of this game, but nothing on the scale where it feels like the map is drastically different or the map flow is ruined by some odd gameplay decisions. But there you have it with 6v6 for launch. We next up have Lounge, which is going to be for Gunfight, available at launch as well. No time to kick back and relax here. This compact map for Gunfight and other small squad modes takes place in a high-scale, high-octane club. Take the stairs or climb to a balcony for a view across the main chamber. When the center gets too hot, try your luck in the game room or under the spotlights of the stage behind the grand piano. On this tiny map, there's danger at every turn, so stay active, use cover, and be ready to put on a show-stopping performance. So, not actually sure where this environment is pulled from. At first, I was like, is this from El Sin Nombre, the campaign mission in Mexico? But no, it's actually not. So, unclear where this is pulled from, but nonetheless, they haven't really used any 6v6 maps or BR sections and exactly adapted them for Gunfight 2v2 by closing off spaces. They've made some pretty original spaces for Gunfight, which might be right next to a map that we recognize in the game already, but it's not exactly the same environment that we already have played on. So this is fantastic. But next up, we have Canal, also available at launch here. Clearly see that windmill in the distance, obviously from Vandal. They went ahead and wrote here, situated in the vicinity of Vandal, this new gunfight map takes place in and around a brewery and a canal thoroughfare. Offering some verticality, Canal features cellars below the cobblestone streets. Above, with the action occurring between the canal bridges, where the water or a moored boat are useful in your tactical planning. Be ready for close quarters combat while weaving through the brewery and restaurant. Canal is frenetic, with a bit more room to move other than the gunfight maps, or excuse me, with a bit more room to move than other gunfight maps, so think tactically and keep pressing the fight. So at first when we saw this in the launch trailer, we're like, wait, are we going to see day and night cycles this season, considering the whole Shadow Company theme? Get it? A shadow theme? Are we going to be seeing day-night cycles, or just different lighting and other types of dynamic weather inside of our existing BR maps that might end up coming in the future? But I love the fact that they're going to pull areas from existing BR maps. They're going to change the time of day, they're going to change the weather, and then port those into other modes like 6v6 or Gunfight. And moving on though to our mid-season update here, which I'm really excited about because I've been talking about this since December when Building 21 first released. Let's go ahead and take a part of B21, add it into Gunfire, add it into 6v6. Let's see that. And here we have DRC Zone 1. Building 20 already had some spectacularly memorable moments in Call of Duty Warzone, now an area within the vicinity of this clandestine location we revealed for Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer. Prepare to enter a new zone in the DRC Research Campus. The map is located around the Visitor Center in the shadow of Building 21. Many of the technological triumphs that the DRC have gifted the world are on display here. Players are allowed behind the curtain to view some of the inner workings of the facility, from research and development to the shipping and receiving areas to a few of the laboratories. This small-sized map is focused on fast-paced combat where shortcuts, outflanking, and consistent action is to be expected. Look for a full tactical overview of this map at mid-season. So they could have just easily have taken the existing map and just cut off pieces for certain modes, but I love the fact, like I said earlier, that they're actually creating multiplayer maps that are set alongside or next to existing maps and still making them feel like completely original locations for other game modes. It's going to be really, really exciting, and I'm I'm sure there'll be some secrets added to this multiplayer map, which fully give away where the map exactly takes place. Is it a crater from the destruction of Verdansk, or what is going on with Building 21? We're going to find out probably a lot more once the midseason does roll around. But as far as new modes go, also really excited about the fact that we have 3 new modes dropping at launch here inside of multiplayer. So first off, we have Havoc, a mode that leaked out, I think, a good month and a half ago. The mode sounds like it would have really fit with the boys collaboration, you know, something like injecting yourself with temp V inside of multiplayer, having different gameplay modifiers every time you get a kill. But here's what they said about Havoc here. Havoc's a brand new mode inspired by classic arena shooter gameplay, then further enhanced with the injection of a random selection of frenzy-inducing modifiers. See, Temp V would have worked perfectly with that. Maybe the mode just wasn't ready for Season 4 Reloaded. IW specifically designed this as a rogue-like mode, where each time a game is played, you receive enhancement modifiers that changes the gameplay in a new and interesting, not to mention chaotic, ways. Don't expect 2 games of Havoc to play out identically, but do expect a whole lot of fast-paced combat with the emphasis of entertaining takedowns. The match starts in a similar manner to TDM, however, you should forget about perk packages, kill streaks, or field upgrades. They don't exist in Havoc. Instead, prepare to embrace the match-changing modifiers. Once a squad is the first to reach a multiple of 12 kills, 12, 24, 36, 48, and 60, the game adds a new modifier to the match for both teams from a pool of 14 available modifiers. Here are examples of just 5 of them. We have Ammo Feeder, Boots Off the Ground, Flame Shot, Hero Landing, and Perspective Shift. So this is really cool. I mean, essentially advanced movement inside of MW2, that's going to be crazy, and then some other modifiers, which also sound pretty chaotic, like they already said here in the blog post. But if you're wondering what the other modifiers might be, a list of them did leak out a couple of weeks ago, and an article was written about it over at detonated.com. It was a safe article, of course, showing no copyrighted material on screen whatsoever, just text. But the modifiers stack as the match progresses, so by the end of a match you could have, for example, a third-person Moon Gravity, Hero Landing enabled, auto-reloading flame-tipped crossbow, and Molotov's only deathmatch, only one team, or once one team reaches 60 kills. Bring the squad to Havoc and prepare for some frenetic fun. We also have Big Capture the Flag, and that's a nice image, by the way, here of the new WA2000, the Karak.300 weapon coming out. Want to go bigger? Then the battle maps are ready for some classic Capture the Flag matches in Season 5. We obviously already got Prisoner Rescue and S&D added to our ground war maps, I think during the last season, so this is going to be pretty cool now. So being able to play Capture the Flag on some of the bigger spaces, that's gonna call for some pretty cool gameplay, so I'll be jumping into that right away when the season does begin as well. And then we also have gunfight variants, including armored gunfight. So that's going to be for the launch window, and then armored gunfight is probably later, closer to Reloaded. But as they wrote here, step into the 2v2 gunfight arena with 3 different variants available throughout Season 5. Look for the following. We have Gunfight Custom, featuring standard gunfight rules, but the weaponry you bring in is taken from your favorite loadouts. That's actually pretty impressive. It's a new version of gunfight we've never seen before. Gunfight Snipers, you saw that in a couple of previous CODs, MW19, Cold War. So tool up with your favorite sniper or marksman rifle and leave the secondary tacticals and lethals at home. That's coming mid-season. And then also at some point in season, we're seeing armored gunfights. Need more protection during your 2v2. Then welcome to armored gunfights, a variation of the fan favorites, featuring standard gunfight rules with one distinct difference: armor is enabled. Each squad mate comes to the fight with 150 HP of armor, 100 health, and no replacement plates or health regen. All other gunfight rules apply: win conditions, overtime, capturing the flag, but your takedown tactics should be adjusted accordingly. Now, for those asking about what's going on with Faceoff on our existing gunfight maps, for some reason, 2v2 Faceoff or 3v3 Faceoff haven't been present over the last couple of weeks in MW2, but 4v4 Faceoff is coming mid-season, however. So for those seeking the fast action gameplay of small team cage matches, the ultimate complement to gunfight is back. Use your own loadouts, forget kill streaks, and play modes like TDM and kill confirmed on all MW2 gunfight maps. However, in Season 5, the action is even more frenzied as the player count is upped by 1 operator per team. This is 4v4 Faceoff. Fans of Shipment 24/7 will take note here. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty damn cool. Also a nice new ghost skin, as you can see. Not sure if this is gonna be a part of a bundle or is that a battle pass skin. We got Soap right there. But yeah, that's gonna be all of our brand new multiplayer maps and modes coming day 1, or most of them at least. Some of them are being saved for mid-season, but that's essentially the meat and potatoes of our update in terms of what you're gonna be downloading right before August the 2nd. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the early download for Season 5? How are you feeling about all the content coming to multiplayer when it comes to the maps and the modes, plus the other surprises that we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.